and good evening, everyone, to our The Wasted Hour podcast, episode number 2. This is Martin, and for this episode, I met with Julien and Markus from Lea Porcelain at the Funkhaus in Berlin. We talked about their first encounter in the morning at the Robert Johnson Club, the energy at night, music and skate videos, and of course, their new song, I Am Okay. If you can, make sure to catch them on tour this week. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy.
First of all, thank you for making it happen today. Already the first question is, the legend says that you two met at the Robert Johnson Club in Offenbach at like 7 a.m. in the morning.
Several times at 7 a.m. in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him the first time, I think. And then
Okay.
we actually met, I think 1 week later in Frankfurt at a birthday party, I think, at the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you remember each other, like the first impression that you...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I
yeah.
remember it perfectly.
Yeah.
What was your first impression of him?
I was just sitting on this terrace at Robert Johnson, and then he passed by, and it was just I asked my friends that I hang out with, who's this guy, because he's
I look different.
It was a bit different than the other guys.
Okay.
He looked a bit indie.
They had undercuts and long hair.
Everybody was on this
Do
techno.
you know Darwin D's?
Yeah.
This was the kind of hair I was wearing.
Okay.
Yeah. And the first time I met him was by the river, and he had long hair and a bottle of Garazovska vodka in his hand, and he was celebrating.
It's the one with the grass in it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was and he was the rising star of the techno scene, and then we got to know each other. And then I went to one of his gigs, and kind of became his roadie for the night, because the club was really full, and after he played, he had to get all his drum gear out, so I helped. Then we went to his studio, brought everything there, and then, I don't know, we became friends.
First of all, I think we actually became friends on this very same day, because there was this anti-GEMA demo, because they were
there was the new reference because of the sampling.
Clubs, yeah. And then it was not good for parties, and then it was just a little love parade in Frankfurt.
Okay.
And we were just the whole day together, and then we became friends.
That sounds good. Julien, you already mentioned that that you were the rising star of the techno scene. I think I read that you learned drums from a young age on, and then you started to produce your own first electronic music. And I remember it too. I remember reading somewhere from your name, and you were associated with the Cocoon Club.
Yes.
I think, and stuff like that. But then, from one day to the other, it just went quiet. So what?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was just signed on the Cocoon label, and also on in the booking agency from Sven Feth.
Yeah.
And he discovered me on my second EP, I think, and he played it, and then asked me if I would join his agency and stuff. And then I played a lot around on Ibiza, on the Cocoon parties and stuff. And I went on tour with him a lot, and I did this for 3 years, I think. And then there was this point where I was just looking for a change. And then we just met actually in this time. And then I went on for half a year or a year. And then we started to the first thing we ever did was that I released one song of him. He did it with a friend, and I remixed it. This song, and and then I don't know, a couple of months later, we said let's do a session and let's try something out. Because I was wondering what could be the combination of the two of us, and I already told him that I really believe in his voice and in his sound of the voice, but that he needs somebody who takes care of production and who can put him on point and give him a strong melody, and I never thought about me at this moment, but then at the end it was me.
Yeah. So it was the perfect match.
Yeah. So it was a perfect, I don't know, we spent 3 days in the studio and made 2 songs, and one of them was like Out Is In, the first on the debut album. And
so it makes sense that it's the first song.
Yeah, and then I just remember we went on holidays with friends like straight after, and I listened to these two songs like every day, like I don't know, 100 times.
Super loud on the PA on the swimming pool.
Yeah, and there was like so much energy only because of these two songs, and all our friends said like, "This is amazing, you should go on and stuff." And then I kind of decided in my head that this is the direction where I want to go.
Cool.
And then, yeah, a couple of months later, I think that he also stopped his own projects he had at the time, and then we went full in. Yeah.
So you said that it was like a combination of your sound that you have now was a combination of the songs you made both. So I read that you developed your musical taste in watching skate videos.
Oh yeah. This is, I think, where I didn't really have a good taste in music when I was like 10, 11, 12. I listened to like
Michael Jackson.
No, I listened to like Method Man and Wu-Tang Clan and this whole, this hip hop thing, which was weird. But then when I started skateboarding, it became this, whatever was in the skateboard video was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it was subconscious because you like the way the guys skateboard and their style, and then their taste of music made so much more sense. And then you develop this whole discography of great music that you would have never found in any way. And then I got like a little bit of knowledge from that without knowing. It was just intentional watching these films and stuff. And then I got really into this kind of music,
Do you remember a specific skate park that where you discovered a great band?
Ali Boulala, Flip Sorry, Grey Matter, Burning Bridges.
Burning Bridges.
So I Am the Walrus and stuff.
It's in it's the Beatles cover from the
it's the Beatles. Jeff Rowley part. That was something. And even Johnny Rotten from Sex Pistols was moderating the whole video, and that brought me so close to music that at some point when we were like 14, 15, we're like, oh, there's a contest. We skate. Let's make a band to play a gig there. And that was the idea when I started my first band. It just all came out of that sport. So I think that's a really great thing.
So you were more rooted in the punk scene, or?
Yeah, a little bit. We were like doing German punk.
Okay.
Until after school I went to England, and then I studied in Ireland. So I started to sing in English only. But before that it was pure German mostly.
Yeah. So you said that you were in Spain blasting the songs through the PA, and had like the whole energy. What can you do both together better than you did on your own before?
I think like before it was like a one-man show for me, so I was just a producer of electronic music, and everything mostly for my productions came out of the computer or synths and stuff, or like machines mainly. And I was like looking for something more, like I always said like I want to do true songs, like I want to write songs with somebody, and I couldn't do it on my own because I wasn't a singer. I was just like a producer, and I think I had a good taste for sounds and for own sounds, and I think it was just the perfect combination because I'm really good in creating an atmospheric soundscapes and a nice base of sounds, and it just perfectly worked when he listened to my sounds and drums and stuff, and he could just like sing over after 2 minutes. He had a voice melody in his head. And it was really easy at the start. Like it was just, I was doing my.
Now it's really hard work.
No, actually not. But I mean, of course, we developed as writers. So at the start, it was pretty much me doing drum beats and some layers of synths, and then he was singing over it, and then we recorded guitars and other elements. But yeah, now it's more like. We got more into this writing thing, and we write things on an acoustic guitar and write the true song, and then we record it and produce it out. But yeah, I think it was just the combination of this voice mainly and
and your sound.
and the soundscapes and sounds. Yeah.
Cool. So we talked about some places already. Today we're meeting at Funkhaus in Berlin. We talked about Frankfurt and also like Spain. Perhaps you can tell the listeners something about the Funkhaus. So what is this? It's a huge area here. We're sitting at the cafe, and there are a lot of creative people around here.
Lazy people. Well, they're hanging out, having coffees. Well, the Funkhaus used to be the radio station of the GDR. They kind of made a really big thing out of it because they wanted to compete with the United States in the Cold War. And I mean, it looks beautiful, and it's super big, and it has amazing studios and recording rooms and reverb rooms. But that was also desolate for like 15 or 20 years until the new owner here, bought it and like got new artists in, selected others out. Because when we came in here, it was not as nice as it is now. It was like there were drinkers and drug addicts and people living in their rooms, and it was like you couldn't really believe that there's serious music going on.
Okay.
There were certain ones, but it was not like this is now. Like you see Niels Fram waving by, bringing coffees and stuff like this. Now it's a really nice environment. But I think it was in 2016 that he bought it, and we shortly after this moved from London to Berlin, and we were looking for a studio. So we met the owner through Julien's parents by coincidence, came here, had a 2-minute interview to explain our vision, showed some music, showed him Bones, and then he was like picking us a room, and then we got in here, and ever since we became like Funkhaus artists. We had like 3 rooms, we're really close with the owner. We play here like as much as we can. Like we played Saal 2 last year. We're gonna play Saal 1 on the 11th of May. And even during the time when we released the album, we had like release parties here. We had video shoots here for Warsaw Street, and they supported us a lot. And the environment is just, I don't know, for us really fruitful, and it's a good place to grow, I think.
Cool. Yeah, it's amazing. Like just walking around here.
We live here.
That's cool. And also you do a lot of recording and writing in Spain too. Just to escape the winter, or?
Both I would say. We just wanted to like, be on our own. Just have this house like, and be in the studio every day.
Yeah. You also lived in Spain before, right?
Yeah, it's actually the house where I raised.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And also the house where we went on holidays after this first studio session. So this house also has a very nice energy for us. And we just, I mean, it's very good if you like take 3 months out and you just like go into one house, set everything up, and just be in this bubble for every day. And you don't have this like large way from home to the studio, back and forth every day. Traffic and everything like distracts you a bit. Yeah. And if you go there and
got no
isolate yourself completely,
just like the music and
it was actually better than I thought it could be. So it was like a perfect time for us.
Yeah, just like there's always it can always go on the other side. There's just like a party house for like a few months. But it's cool that you also were very productive.
Everyone at Funkhaus thought we're partying for 3 months. They were like asking, so are the guys partying a lot? And we didn't party once really.
Yeah. Which is a good sign.
Yeah, which was a good sign. It was like a detox creative, I don't know, period. But it went really well. Better than we expected actually.
So speaking of creativity, your first album is called Hymns of the Night.
Hymns to the Night?
Hymns to the Night, I'm sorry. And I also read that a lot of the songs were written or recorded at night. I read this actually with some other albums too. Like a lot of bands say that they have a better workflow at night, or that there's a better mood. Can you say what's the main difference between day and night? Is there something that shifts, or?
For me, the main difference is that everything shuts down, and you just like, I think you feel this that this stress and this daily business on the streets is just like shut down, and everybody is in a more relaxed like vibe of yourself, and I don't know, you just don't get any distraction, and you can create something in this time of like, yeah, it's more free, I think, because there's like nothing happening.
There's a lot more concentration if you, for example, if you want to try to write a song now here outside, there's like 10, 15 people listening, and there's, I don't know, everyone is on the phone and whatnot, and at night they're all sleeping, and you have the whole place for yourself, and it's just a lot more as if the universe has more concentration to listen to you than during the day, because it just looks from the outside and there's so many noises and stuff that you can't concentrate and they don't listen, and it's just a good time to listen into yourself, but also for your environment to pick up your vibes. Yeah.
But it's also what I experienced now when we were in Spain, and you have this house of freeness, and you have your own space, and it's very calm outside. It's also beautiful to ride on the day, because you don't see this Berlin stress and people like running on the streets and stuff. So for me, it was really nice for the first album, but for the second one, it's definitely like we had beautiful moments at daytime at like 2 o'clock, sun burning into the studio, and it's a complete other vibe. And so are the songs also completely different from the vibe, I think, and more sunny and more open and more positive. Or
it's so cool, because when I first listened to you, I was sitting in a train, and it was like at night it was already dark outside, and for me it was the perfect gift now for the 2-hour train ride to listen to your album. It was just like it's one mood for me, your first album, and which is really rare these days, because like you have like an album and there are like 2 or 3 good songs, because everybody wants to go to like the playlists and stuff, but still to find an album that like has a whole mood was perfect. And then when I read the story that you like created the songs like at night, it made perfect sense for me too. For me, I also heard that it's kind of spontaneous, like you had an idea and then you just executed it. Like, how long does it take for you when you have an idea until the final song?
It really depends. I mean, now the songs we finished in Spain existed, like some of them existed like for 6 or 7 months before, and we're just like doing production over and over to get to an end. But sometimes you spend like 8 months to have the finished one, and it can be even less than the first version. But it's just like important to like, we always listen to it over and over and over, like to be 100% sure that it's the version that goes on vinyl or goes out there is the one that doesn't have too much, doesn't have too less, and it's just like on point and not overproduce.
For me, it sounds like totally different to what you did before, because like for me, I imagined it like producing techno songs, like it's a lot of in your head.
It's only head, and now it's way more free, and
it's just like a vibe and a flow. So now that I know that you like were rooted in the punk scene like before, it makes like perfect sense that those two really matches very well together. Like, speaking of creativity, do you find your time or your space to switch off? Like, can you take your mind off music and just do something else, or are you always thinking about stuff?
I'm always thinking about music. No, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's my vision and my like, my thing in life. So maybe if I watch a movie, I'm in another world for 1.5 hours. But then, I mean, of course, we go out and have fun, and you meet your friends and stuff. But we are most of the time together, and then it's always thinking about the music and the vision.
Yeah, I think it comes in phases. Because in the summer last year, when we started writing, it was all about writing, composing, and every night. And now that we've done all this for like the past year, it's much more like, how can we bring this, what we did, on stage? So it's not more composing, it's more almost a production of how can we do this live. It's different thinking, I think, in music, but it's...
This is good that you had like different phases of working.
Yeah.
If you would only be writing the whole year, it would be too much at the end.
Yeah.
If you have these different.
It's also what I heard about the XX when they made their first album, and then they kind of exploded, and then they had to learn to play their songs live because they were just like sitting in the studio before and just composing. Yeah. So it's always there was a huge step for them to take their songs on stage.
There's a massive difference between let's just play this bass and let's just try this synth. When it comes to now we have to put this on the stage. How are we gonna do this? Like technically, do we have enough hands, or how do because you want to play the song as it is, and then you can maybe do different performances. Like we gotta run a little bit different live, but it's just because we had it, and then we were like, let's change it a little bit so it keeps it exciting for everyone. But I don't know, it's just a long way, you wouldn't think. But like when we just were on tour with Apparat, we could also see he made this album mostly like by himself with his band and stuff, but you can really see that it's a lot of work for a band to put what a cell produces in the studio, put this on the stage for everyone to see. I think there's a long way and a lot of music shops and cables and stuff.
That's why you spent today and yesterday all at the at the audio shop. Yeah, checking for sound cards and stuff.
I mean, the live setup is like kind of since 3 years now. It's a journey. Like we always change stuff, and some things go wrong sometimes, and then you find another little thing. And I think it's a non-stop thing that you're gonna evolve your live setup.
Yeah, also because the technique changes all the time. So like the shift.
And you always like get to a situation that you didn't have before, and something changes, and it's a vibration on stage that you didn't have like on this frequency before, and then one of the sound cards fucks up because of this fucking vibration. Sorry.
So I'm looking forward to hear you on the tour with your live setup. You released a new single like a few weeks ago. It's called
like 2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks ago.
Oh. Even less,
with a beautiful video shot in New York. It's called "I Am Okay."
Yeah.
When's your moment when you are okay?
I think when we, like right now after this time after Spain, having like a bunch of new songs, having a great team around us, having a great band. I mean, I feel okay since that new period of us starting the new songs for a second album, or so I feel good every day actually, almost.
Sounds good. So my already last question to you is, like, you've been to a lot of places. You shot like a video in New York, or you're recording in Spain. You've been to London and everywhere. But where would you go if you would be at the airport and you would be given one free flight to go anywhere? Where would you go and why? It's always tough, like, to decide.
Go to Ireland and live by the cliffs with a guitar and play it, and come back with 10 albums.
But Ireland is really cold too.
I lived there. It's
you studied there.
Nice. No, I didn't study. I worked for it's my social service, and then I could study apart from that in Dublin. But that was cool because this country is so musical, and they really don't give a shit. Whereas in Germany, people tend to give too much of a shit and be too serious. In Ireland, everything is a little bit more personal. It's also cooler than England, I think, because people are it's just 4 million. It's like a big family on a little grassy field. But it's so musical. You come into any pub or anything, someone starts singing, and it's always around. I don't know, they have a really, really big folk tradition.
Yeah.
And also a big tradition of poetry, like, Oscar Wilde, James Joyce, William Butler Yeats. They were the reasons why I went there, to because I fell in love with poetry. And it's just, I don't know, the country just has this peace. It's I've never seen anything anywhere, but this peace when you go out onto the West Coast to Galway and stuff. It's like there's so much peace. It's kind of nice, but there's a lot of rain and grey weather, so you get depressed also. But that's life, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like thinking now. First, I would check the swell, I think, and then I would go on an island where waves are getting in, and then I would just like, hang out in a house and go surfing and make music.
Basically what you did in
Basically what we did in Spain, but just
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. And we're looking
Thank
forward
you.
to the tour, to all the new songs too. And
Thanks.
tour starts next week.
Tour starts next week. Yeah, in a couple of days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
See you in Hamburg.